Hello, BookTube. Alan here. Welcome to a rainy day in southwest Georgia. It's been kind of chilly and windy and rainy all day. It stopped for a while, so I thought I could do a book review. I've been really remiss in getting this book review out because I've read this book about 3 weeks ago, finished it, and that is Driven by Dane Cobain. And I really enjoyed this book. At first, I have to admit, I didn't particularly, and I kind of chalked that up into my personal life and situation, but I read it from the beginning again, and it's a detective novel. I'm very much into crime fiction. I love detective stories and that. And this one, the main character, James Lipfold, is a private eye, former cop, who's an alcoholic, recovering alcoholic. He keeps a bottle locked up in his desk drawer just to look at, to remind himself. And he comes close to drinking in this novel. Now this is book 1, which means there's going to be a book 2 and hopefully a series. And I can't wait to see what ends up, because he has an assistant that he hires who's a computer whiz. Her name's Melia. And I think he has a thing for her, and she for him. She's younger, tattooed, modern. Through his escapades in drinking, he doesn't have a driver's license anymore. He rides a bike around, and not a motorcycle, a bicycle. Now, there's not going to be any spoilers in this. I hope I don't accidentally give anything away too much, but there's a play in this novel called Driven, and the actress starring in that play gets murdered. At first it seems like a traffic accident, but it's an open case with the cops, and she is definitely murdered. Now, Jack has friends in the police force. It takes place in London. He took liberties with the location and the particulars of London. But he gets help from, you pronounce it, Chamaldry. I'm sorry, Chamandry. Some of the names in here are difficult for me to pronounce, but that's never stopped me or anyone else. You know, if you have a difficult name, you just make it up in your head. You know how it goes. And now it's drizzling again. I had no problem with some of the British phrasing in here. He uses the word chippy several times, like we went out to the chippy, or this happened in front of the chippy. And this was a buddy read with Mr. Mark Nash, by the way. And so I'd ask Mark, chippy means like a fish and chips place, right? He goes, right. So it wasn't hard for me. Some of the phrasing, like on page 117, Lipfold shut his computer down and tidied the papers in his in tray and wiped down the surfaces. Now I read that he tidied up his papers in his in tray. Oh, that's a typo. No, his in tray. He tidied up his papers in his in tray. What else I can criticize? I can't criticize too much for this. That tells you what a detailed reader I am too, doesn't it? I think it does. I'm always finding typos in novels, Stephen King novels, whatever. Here's an example of chippy, page 55. All I know is I found it outside the chippy at the dodgy end of Rentworth Road. The dodgy end of, that means, what does that mean to me? That means like the seedy side. Let's see, what else? Here's something I really didn't understand. 92. The woman she talked to had a poor grasp of English and a good grasp of protocol, but Melly knew how to game the system. Through a combination of technical know-how, duplicity, and good old-fashioned blagging, she convinced the woman to reset the account's credentials. Now, I don't know what blagging means. Good old-fashioned blagging. Does that mean like fortitude, good old-fashioned stick-to-itiveness? I don't know. I'll have to. I'm sure someone will fill me in on that. But getting back to the plot of the story, in a way, there's a lot of suspects in here, and they're finally all gathered in a room. I think I marked that too, because Liffold asked one of the cops to wear a wire. I'm not sure I can find it, but it reminded me of Agatha Christie this way, like all the usual suspects are gathered. But for sake of time and wetness, I'm going to put this to a brief end. I very much enjoy this novel, and I look forward to the subsequent novels in the series. Now, I'm not hoping that Liffold will relapse and drink again, but it'd be interesting if he does. So I give it a thumbs up, and I'm really impressed, Dane. So, good job. Look forward to the next ones. I hope you like this video. If you do, thumbs up it for me. Subscribe if you care to. And I will be back soon. Ta-ta.